Am I the a-hole stories? Am I the a-hole for telling my extended family how many men, roughly, my sister has slept with, after she outed our youngest brother as a virgin? We had a family dinner this evening. My family has 4 kids in total: me, my elder sister, 29 female, younger sister, 24 female, and youngest brother, 22 male. Extended family attended our family dinner. So, all of our significant others, our cousins, aunts and uncles etc. During the dinner, my elder sister and youngest brother got into a mild disagreement. My sister seemed, at least to me, to be coming across as very aggressive out of frustration, and losing said argument. The two of them were too absorbed in their argument to realize the rest of us were getting a bit fed up. Eventually my sister got really fed up and said, "Shut up, I'm not going to argue with a 22-year-old virgin." My brother hadn't done any personal attacks up until that point. It was completely unprovoked. I think it might have been the alcohol, as my sister is a mean drunk. Anyway, I immediately told my sister to grow up, and that she was making an embarrassment of herself. She replied by saying everyone knows he's a virgin and she didn't say anything wrong. This annoyed me, as my bro definitely has confidence issues, and doesn't need to be made fun of like this. So, I responded by saying how she slept with well over 100 men while she was in college, and that since everyone in the family knows this, it's not a big deal, right? Turns out her husband didn't know this. Amazingly, I genuinely assumed he must have known. He left the party angrily, saying my sister misled him about her past. Family is blaming me for their marital problems. I refuse to accept I did anything wrong. My sister bullied my brother in front of everyone. All I did was give her a taste of her own medicine. Now for the top comments. Everyone sucks here. One person making personal attacks doesn't mean someone else should, especially since you weren't even in the argument to begin with. Yeah, everyone sucks here seems right. Not cool of her to be going after his brother like that, but there were much better ways of diffusing the argument than stooping to her level of personal attack, regardless of the aftermath. Not the a-hole. You were looking out for your little brother and you fought with the truth. If your sister can't take the truth, she shouldn't dish it out. She also shouldn't have kept it from her husband. Didn't she say there was nothing wrong with talking about other siblings' ex-life? Sounds like she doesn't think that applies to her, but she has no right to be upset that OP followed her position. Not the a-hole. 1. She started the personal attacks on body count, so she can't be mad when someone points out hers. 2. She lied to her husband about her past and that's her fault. If anything, she's the a-hole for that. 3. If their marriage is truly in trouble for you speaking the truth, it's probably not the best match. Point number 2 is why I go with not the a-hole instead of everyone sucks here. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for jumping out of a bathroom window to avoid my mom's attempt at forcing a reunion between me and my ex-fiancé? Some backstory: I had been dating my ex-fiancée Sarah for 4 years. We had been planning to get married in November 2020, but I found out at the start of this month that she cheated on me. She begged me to give her another chance, but I broke it off. The problem was that being cheated on is, in my mind, completely emasculating and humiliating. So, I never told anyone that was the reason we broke up. For obvious reasons, Sarah also didn't tell people we broke up because she cheated. So, people have blamed me for the breakup, including my mom. They just see that I dumped her out of the blue. I've gone very strict no contact with Sarah after I discovered she was cheating on me. Sarah has been talking with my mom and has convinced her that if we could talk one more time, we would be able to reconcile. My mom has been applying hardcore pressure on me to talk with Sarah, but I've explained that there's no chance we will ever get back together. So tonight, I go over to my mom's place because she's hosting family for Christmas Eve. I'm there for a bit talking with my aunts and uncles and cousins, when the doorbell rings and I can see it's Sarah. I ask what the hell is going on, and my mom says she invited Sarah, so we can work this out in the spirit of the holidays. I'm pissed now because the only way to explain my side of the story is to tell everyone I was cheated on. Complete humiliation in front of my whole family. So as my mom goes to the front door, I go into the bathroom. My mom starts knocking on the door saying that I need to come out and talk to my ex like an adult. I say screw it, kick out the window screen and get in my car and go home. My mom called a short while ago saying she's cutting ties with me over my behavior. She's really fixated on me jumping out of the window, and that Sarah will always be like a child to her. My sister called me after, to ream me out for ruining Christmas. I broke down and told her that Sarah cheated on me, which is why I dumped her and didn't want to see her under any circumstances. She called me a big a-hole who was lying to cover for myself. Am I really in the wrong? Now for the top comments. F that. Your mom, Sarah, and your sister are all a-holes. The nerve of her, to show up at your mom's house. I'm pissed off just reading this. I don't understand why your mother is so invested in Sarah. Why would you want to tell her Sarah cheated on you, after how your sister acted? What a freaking mess. Not gonna lie, you kicking out the screen and taking off through the window is straight savage. Reflexes up on legendary. Not the a-hole. I gotta say though, that OP honestly should have come clean at some point before it escalated to any of this. Yes, it shouldn't have been his family's business at. And yes, she should have believed him when he said that he was cheated on. But come on, when you reach the point that you have to essentially break out of your mom's bathroom to get to your car and drive away to avoid telling someone what happened, you have to take a step back and see how that looks to people. Having said that, I think OP needs a long hard break from just about everybody and needs time to himself. Not the a-hole, but dude. You got to tell them why you're acting like this. People will certainly feel a bit sorry for you, but they'll realize why you don't want to be in the same room with this girl. It's hard to blame them for trying to help fix something when they don't understand how badly it's been broken. No a-hole here. Everyone sucks here. Well buddy, I can understand why you did what you did, but when your mom started applying pressure to you to talk with your ex, you should have swallowed your pride and told her what happened. Yeah, it's humiliating and all, but sometimes you really just got to man up and own it. As for not wanting to get back with your ex, I totally agree with you and don't think you two should get back together because the trust will never be the same. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling the girl who kissed my boyfriend for a play, that she is desperate and pathetic? I, 19 female, study drama at uni, and my boyfriend is on the same course. My boyfriend is a really good-looking guy, but he doesn't seem to know it. He gets a lot of attention from girls, and for the most part, doesn't seem to get that they're flirting with him. I'm not generally annoyed by this, and never really say anything. However, there's one girl in our class, let's call her Victoria, who is obsessed with my boyfriend. She goes out of her way to be paired with him in group activities. For example, if the professor picks groups by numbering us 1, 2, 3, she will move herself to be in the same number as him, and she recently stepped down from a main role in a play we're doing, so she could be in a more minor one, simply because this character has a romance with my boyfriend. I know this is the case, because I've heard her say to her friends that she thinks he's hot and whatnot. I've never said anything to her about it, because she seems pretty insecure, always complaining about how she thinks she's ugly, and I don't see it as a big deal because my boyfriend doesn't care. However, we recently performed the play, and had a small after-party where she got slightly drunk and was bragging about how she definitely felt something when they kissed in the play, and she's going to ask him if he felt the same. I rolled my eyes and again ignored it, until she actually went up to my boyfriend. She was a little bit drunk, and when she went up to him, I was there too. Victoria started saying that she knows he must have felt a spark, he's a really good kisser, etc. I snapped, and sort of shouted at her that, you sound incredibly desperate, going after somebody else's boyfriend. You're pathetic if you think a stage kiss means you should be together. She looked super embarrassed and walked away, and I later heard she'd gone home crying. I feel like a jerk because she's obviously insecure and whatnot, and her friends haven't stopped calling me a witch since. Am I the a-hole? Edit, she 100% knows that I am his girlfriend. I have heard her talking about me being his girlfriend before. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. She took it way too far. Approaching him about it was out of line. She learned an important lesson. I feel like this is the rare case where OP was an a-hole, but was perfectly justified. There would have been a much nicer way to say it to Victoria that in theory OP could have said. But honestly, who would expect that in such a situation? OP reacted like a jerk in a situation where it was called for, and ultimately Victoria will, hopefully, be a lot better for it, because being delusional wasn't helping her at all. Not the a-hole. She's been trying to get at your boyfriend for a while, and you maturely didn't engage because it was clear that she didn't have a chance. She literally came up to him, when you were right next to him, and tried to have a conversation about feelings. That's ridiculous, and you were trying to be nice at first, but I don't think you had to be after that happened. Thinking that a stage kiss meant something with someone else's boyfriend, is pathetic. Seemed like she wasn't going to stop until she heard that. Not the a-hole, she was delusional and you brought her back down to earth. Needed to happen, you tried to ignore it but she kept pushing. Truth Hurts was made for situations like this. OP brought the cold, stinging sensation of reality that woke her from a dream. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my son he deserved his girlfriend breaking up with him? So, my son had a long-distance girlfriend recently for about 2 years. She was great, a really nice girl, and we all loved her, welcomed her with open arms. She was flying here constantly to visit him, like a weekend a month, and he didn't lift a finger to go visit her. I tried talking to him about it several times, and told him he should really start looking into flying over to her instead of expecting her to do all the traveling. He said no. And my wife probably had something to do with it, as she constantly told him she was afraid of him flying. I spoke to them both and said this girl is great for him, she was willing to move over to our country too, but said there was one condition, and that was he'd have to fly over to her country too. Which is fair enough. He said no, he didn't want to fly or travel anywhere. My son was becoming lazier and lazier, eventually telling his girlfriend and us that he was perfectly fine never traveling anywhere including holidays etc. Last week, he told us she's dumped him. I went on her Facebook page as we're all still friends. She wrote us an apology letter, about how she's upset it didn't work out but these things happen, so we're on good terms, and looks like she's with a new guy already. Me and my wife have no doubt she was seeing him while still in a relationship with my son. I confessed to them both that I actually agree with her decision, and he should have expected it. He did not treat her properly and I hope he learns lessons for the next one, because he needs to make more of an effort. I said he deserves it for his lack of effort in the relationship, and for essentially just allowing this girl to spend all her money and time coming here all the time. Wife and son are very upset that I said this. Very very upset, and my wife says I am being horrible. Am I the a-hole? I stand by what I said. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. That's the truth. What age is he? Edit, you say he's 24 in another comment. Definitely not the a-hole. If he is this lazy and has no plans to travel, what's his plan for leaving the house? Living with parents is great to save money, but he doesn't seem the type so far to actually get up and get out eventually. Not the a-hole, it's a truth he needs to hear. I'm more concerned about the reaction of your wife. Does she enable your son's laziness? Yes lol, he's a proper mommy's boy. I want him to just grow up to be honest. He's 24 now. Not the a-hole. He's been too lazy with the relationship anyway. The girl deserves someone better, and your son needs to know that it takes effort to make a relationship work. Agreed. That's why I said I'm actually happy for her and hope this new guy treats her well. She was really very nice. And that's it for this video guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day everyone.